I've been doing ceramics for 5 years. 5 years. I was doing a mentoring program with freshmen where they paired you up with a Missouri Southern professor. I did the program, and one of the teachers I was assigned to was Frank Pischker, who's the art instructor at MSSU, and he teaches ceramics. So I was in the studio, I was working with him, and then one day I saw him do ceramics, and it was just like magic. He was taking mud and making it into stuff, and so then I started doing it. I'm a high school teacher here at Joplin High School, teaching Spanish, enlightening the minds of America's youth. I like having something material that I can see progress in. So with teaching, it's very rewarding, but the rewards are all intrinsic, whereas when I come in to make a cup, I can make a cup and see that I made a cup, whereas sometimes it's hard to see that feedback immediately from students. Actually working on the potter's wheel is something magical, right? Because it's spinning, and we acknowledge that it's spinning, and you have this piece of clay, which is nothing. And then all of a sudden, if your hands do what they're supposed to do, and you've built that muscle memory that you don't even have to think about it or think about the steps, all of a sudden you have a chunk of mud turned into something that's 10 inches tall or 5 inches tall, and it looks like a vessel, a drinking vessel. And so that part is immediate and really fun and cool. When I first started, I have cups in my classroom. I drink out of all my own stuff, typically just because it's convenient, but several students expressed that they enjoyed my cups, and so when they graduated, I had about 4 or 5 students that when they graduated, I thought it would be neat to give them a cup. They were going off to college and needed stuff like that, and they'd use them in class because I usually have tea and stuff if they want to drink it. And so that was the first year, and then the second year I had more students graduating, and I had more students that I'd built a really solid bond with, and I thought that it would be a good parting gift as they graduated and went off to college to have one of my mugs or cups. It's hard to feel in ceramics like you've done all that you can, because your skill level is always improving and always changing. So when I was in Ceramics 1, I thought it was super cool to make the most ugly pitcher or vase, right? It was extremely thick and it was terrible, but I thought it was awesome. Well, 2 weeks after that, my skill level had changed and I could make something that was only 1 inch thick, and then so on. And I hated the 2 inch thick one. And so every week or every month or every semester, my skill level improves, and I can see that in my work. And so it's always this challenge to make something that was better. In addition to that, ceramics, especially functional work, gets broken all the time. So there's always a need for more stuff, and I give it as gifts. And it's something I built a community of people that I work with and that I really enjoy spending time with, and it's rewarding in that way too. Admittedly, sometimes it's really tough because, a lot of the teaching jobs and duties don't end at 3:45 or even 4 o'clock. So sometimes it's hard to find time to come to the studio, but I just make a pact with myself that, this night and this night every week, I'm going to go to the studio and I'm gonna make something. Plus it's just like a happy place. When I was going to Southern, I spent a ton of time not in the art studio and a ton of time taking really hard classes and doing all this stuff that I didn't find quite as enjoyable. And I would reward myself by having studio time. So it's kind of a carryover from that. I would say for any person wanting to pursue anything that they think they might enjoy, especially if it's art and especially if it's ceramics, is the first thing you have to do is not expect immediate success. So there's no immediate gratification in ceramics. You are going to fail and fail and fail over and over and over again, and that's just like teaching Spanish. My students fail every day, and I try to tell them that that's the way it is and that's the way it should be. You have to mess up to succeed, and so I make something and it's terrible. I come back next week and I make something a little bit better, and it keeps improving from then on. And then the second piece of advice would be to never be satisfied with what you've done. So never get in a rut, just keep doing the exact same thing over and over and over, because you can improve and you can get better, and it's definitely worth it. I just need to have a sip out of one of my mugs.